Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Tuesday, May the 20th, 2025. And I've got to say, she's a bit chilly this morning. I think it was 2 or 3 degrees or something. It will obviously get colder when the winter actually hits. But when you've had a start of the year like we have with the really humid, hot weather that's extended longer than it normally does, when the cold finally hits, we all get a little bit soft and precious, don't we? Well, that's me at the moment. Feeling a bit sorry for myself. I need some gloves or something. But I'm sure as the winter actually does hit, I'll get used to it. Little Neil, he doesn't worry. I don't know if you can see him in the background there. So can you see him? No, it's on face track here. He doesn't seem to care. I almost put a coat on him this morning. We've got a coat that you can, dogs wear. But I just thought as he gets into the walk, it might get a little bit hot for him. So I left it off. He seems to be doing all right anyway. So I'm sure he'll be fine. On this day in 1983, the great Eastern assassin Larry Holmes defeated Tim Witherspoon over 12 rounds to retain his WBC heavyweight title. He did have his moments though. Witherspoon, he rocked Larry Holmes a few times in that fight. There were a few people that actually thought he won the fight. Close fight, but I still think Larry got the job done. And that was probably, I think, 2 years before he lost to Michael Spinks. So really starting to sort of get on the downturn there. I think that might have been almost his last defence of the WBC title before he took up the IBF title. Anyway, it was around that time anyway. But what a champion he was, Larry Holmes. All right, in 1991, Greg Richardson, you remember him? He lost to Jeff Fenech here in Australia back in 1988. It was at the Melbourne Tennis Centre. Again, proving how great Jeff Fenech was. This guy went on to win a world title after Jeff just pretty much obliterated him in 5 rounds. So he defeated Mexico's Victor Rabanales on points to defend his world bantamweight title. So he actually went down in weight, which is interesting after Jeff beat him. In 2006, Marco Antonio Barrera defeated America's Rocky Juarez on points to defend his world 130-pound title. That fight took place in Los Angeles, California. In 2017, Gary Russell defended his world featherweight title and he knocked out Colombian Oscar Escandon in 7 rounds. That was in Oxon Hill, Maryland, that fight. What have we got there? 2017 as well. Terence Crawford, the man who will be in Australia next week. Just got a little dog over there saying good day to Neil. She loves him. Little Grace, I think her name is. Morning, how you doing? Really nice little dog, little puppy. All right, Terence Crawford, the man who will be in Australia next week. Defended his WBC 140-pound title by knocking out Dominican Felix Diaz in 10 rounds in New York City. So that's what happened on this day. All right, some boxing news. Thanks again, actually, to everyone that tuned in last night to Talking Boxing. The numbers keep going up, which is great. And a lot of new, not faces, I can't see them, but a lot of new people commenting. And I think we're building a really good little sort of boxing community there. And I think everyone that comes in the chat are really respectful and appreciate each other's opinions. They might agree with them, but they respect them and chat respectfully most of the time in the chat anyway. Just looking to see. Oh, yeah, there he is there. All right. Now, the big news yesterday, I didn't really delve into it a lot because I just sort of read a quick sort of little mention of it and I didn't have time to really delve into it. But the TKO boxing drama it's almost turned into. All of a sudden, Dana White is gone. Now, not to say he's not going to be involved further down the track, but a statement came out a couple of days ago that said that Dana White would not promote the Crawford and Canelo fight. It would be promoted by Riyadh Season, their 4th fight event outside of Saudi Arabia. But there's been no explanation from what I've seen so far. As I'm recording this anyway, there's been no explanation. I've seen nothing from Dana White. It's like he was here one day and gone the next. There's been no official there has sort of been an official statement just saying that Riyadh Season will promote the fight. Not really any mention of Dana White himself. as I said the other day, I've got a feeling that maybe Dana White has maybe said that this event might be a bit big for him in his first event. I don't know whether, the fact that it's a massive stadium fight, the magnitude of the fight, it's one of the biggest fights that we've seen in a long, long time. Excuse me there. Maybe it's a bit too much for Dana White. I don't know, but it's just been announced that not so much he's out, but Riyadh season will now promote it. So, and at the moment, we've got a date. It's been moved from September the 12th to September the 13th, but it will not be at the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Now, I doubt it'll be at the MGM. It's too small. I don't think T-Mobile is available that night either. And the Allegiant Stadium has been taken up for football, college football. So there is talk that it might go to Los Angeles or New York. So we will see. Actually, I think maybe T-Mobile might be. I can't remember anyway. But either way, Las Vegas is looking like more and more likely that it won't be there. But we will see. But so at the moment, we've had to change the date, a change of location, a change of the promoter, and it's only been about 2 weeks since Canelo's fight, and the fight was sort of announced. It hasn't been officially announced as far as a press conference goes yet. But of course, they did get in the ring after Canelo's fight, and it's been all over Turki Al Sheikh's social media, and of course, it's been leaked everywhere. So it is happening. But the first rocky sort of moment, I suppose, or unsteady moment of the whole promotion. Not off to a great start, not at all. So, look, I'm sure it will smooth out as we go, but I think I said as well, I'm staggered that he hasn't. This is Turki Al Sheikh, maybe handballed off to an Eddie Hearn. I can understand Oscar not being involved with the Canelo feud, but I would have thought that maybe that Eddie Hearn could step in and be the promoter. But there's a lot, I think, going on behind the scenes that we don't really know about. So I'm sure it'll all come to light. I'm positive at some stage that Dana White will say something. It's not like him to sort of sit back and shut up, or is it? When Turki Al Sheikh maybe tells him to do that now that he's his daddy, maybe he'll be just he's been told not to say anything, and they will make the statements. I'm not sure, but yes, as I said, drama already in the Canelo Crawford build up. But what have we got? Still about, 4 months away? So still plenty of time to get back on track. But isn't it interesting? Yeah, the change of promoter, change of date, and we're going to have a change of location as well. So plenty to come. The other thing, Manny Pacquiao has arrived in LA and looks in pretty good condition, actually. I did see a bit of training footage of him on a couple of sites there, and he doesn't look too bad. A lot of people saying, see, I told you he'll be fine. Look at him in training, hitting that speed bag and doing this and doing that. He looks great. Well, let's just remember that these are the same people that said Mike Tyson was looking like his old self before he got in there with Jake Paul. So that's the only thing I'm going to say. Just be careful sometimes of the vision of you see people train. I've seen lots of guys look great in training, hitting the pads and shadow boxing and skipping and all that sort of stuff, looking fantastic, and they get in there and they just fall to pieces. So I think Mario Barrios is a very winnable fight for him, especially out of all the welterweight champions, but we'll see. We'll see, and it does look like his son's going to be on the undercard. So I don't know, is that going to be a bit of a burden for him, or I don't know. But either way, the fight itself, he is back with Freddie Roach at the wild card in LA. So that's great. I'm really happy that they've sort of gotten back together, and because there was a couple of fights there that they parted ways, but what a partnership that's been over the journey. And this is maybe to possibly be his swan song. If he can't win over Barrios, it'd be a great way to go out together anyway. And what a legend Freddie Roach has been. And actually on that, it's a 30-year anniversary of the wild card, the gym. And if you've been there before, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's almost a historical site. It really is. It's a fantastic place. I might just get Neil here. I've got some dogs coming. But to celebrate the 30-year anniversary, they've renamed the place. Come over this way, bud. Where the gym is, they've renamed it Freddie Roach Square. So if you've been there, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's a Thai restaurant. I think there was a laundromat that maybe I think they actually took over and made into a gift shop. There's a couple other things in there as well, but it's a little mini shopping centre, and they've renamed it Freddie Roach Square in honour of the great man Freddie Roach. And if you ever get to LA, make sure you go there and check it out, because you can walk in. They're so welcoming there. Freddie Roach most of the time is actually there. If not, his brothers are, or someone's there anyway, and they'll always have a chat. It's a really good vibe in there, and I remember being there. I've been there a few times, but the most memorable one is when Manny fought Floyd Mayweather, and we're there with the Maloney twins, and every day hundreds of people just milling around out the front. It was like a little sort of festive little party out the front every day, everyone waiting for the fighters to arrive, and it was an electric atmosphere. But just on just an average day, I've been there when nothing's going on, and as I said, you can just walk in there, say good day to Freddie and the crew in there, and they'll always have a chat, reminisce. I'm sure he's told the same story a million times, but you would never know it, because he's such a humble man, a man of very, what would you call it? Very minimal requirements in life. That's probably the best way to describe him. No fuss, he's obviously probably a multi-millionaire with the amount of money he's made out of training his fighters, but you would never, apart from when we were there last, he had this beautiful black Mercedes that he parked down the front, and he actually had a guy that would sit there and watch it all day. That was his job. But apart from that, you wouldn't know that he's just another bloke off the street. He really is a great guy, and what an honour for him to have that square renamed Freddie Roach Square for him. All right, on to some Aussie stuff. And Skye Nicholson's talking about going down to 122. She obviously lost her last fight to Tiara Brown. And I suppose when you lose a fight, you lose your title. You've got to reassess what you do with your career. Some fighters go up. She has decided to go down. Others obviously stay where they are and look to rebuild. But she obviously can make 122 no problems. The big thing there, I suppose, for us Aussie fans and just boxing fans, especially women fans in general, is that Shanika Johnson's there, the other Aussie. She's got the WBA belt. So could we see Skye Nicholson and Shanika Johnson go at it for that 122-pound title? The only thing with that is apparently they are really good friends. They've spent a lot of time together in the amateurs, travelling all over the world together. So, but then again, when there's money on the line and titles, and this is a business, remember, not a sport, so you never know. But that would be a really good fight for Australian boxing. I'll tell you what, which might be a good sort of first up fight for her, is to maybe fight Shannon O'Connell in that grudge fight, or that grudge match. I would love to see that fight. I'm not quite sure whether Skye wants to fight. Her and Shannon have had a really checkered past. They really have gone back a long way, and I know Shannon would love to get that fight. So let's see. Coming off a loss, maybe, and Shannon not being able to get a fight either, maybe they could sort of line up that Skye comes back and fights Shannon in an all Aussie fight, and the winner gets Shanika Johnson at 122. Who knows? I don't know, but some good possibilities there for the girls anyway. Now, just on Aussie boxing as well, we had someone brought it up last night. It was a really, really good point about talking about pay-per-views and what they're worth and what people would pay and all this sort of stuff. And I did mention there was, in my opinion, there was a big gap there. You've got those sort of $70 pay-per-views that are put on for Tim and Nikita and sometimes Sam Goodman or one of these types of guys, but it's mainly, when you think about it, it's the Zoo brothers, those $70 big pay-per-view cards, and that's fine. If people are willing to pay that, I think they're worth it, but some people differ. But either way, that's what they cost. But then there's nothing below that. That's the issue with me at the moment, and I think there's a big market for it, and a big opportunity for No Limit. Now they do those, No Limit on Fox shows, and the question came up last night, well, what about, where are the sort of $30 cards, the half price ones? And my opinion is that if they did it, those No Limit on Fox shows, they obviously get a set amount of money to put on these made for television type of events where they're very, very low budget. They're in sort of little halls, and the fighters, I mean, they have sort of okay fights, but they're almost prelim fights on a main card, and they're okay. I mean, they're good, it's free content, it's fantastic. But my question is how would it go if they sort of ramped up those cards, the No Limit on Fox events, and sort of made them pay-per-view, so they'd have to go on Main Event or one of those channels, but to have it so that they could have like a $30 option. And a good example came up last night with Harbin and Kamakao, just as an example, that if that was $30, would you pay for it? And I think majority of people would pay, and that would then fund these fights to be able to be made. These sort of, not the big sort of mega pay-per-view events, but the ones underneath it, the all Aussie fights. Maybe it's an up-and-comer against a really good international that they really probably can't afford normally just to put a fighter in with. Let's say it's a Liam Wilson as an example. They put a Liam Wilson, they can't really afford him to get one of those really top 5 ranked opponents in the world on these No Limit on Fox. It's not big enough to be a pay-per-view, so they can't put it on that. But it costs too much to put on the No Limit on Fox event. So maybe they had that middle tier option of it might be $30 and you can get the Liam Wilsons against a top 5 ranked opponent. You can get Isaac Harbin versus Kamakao. These are the fights that we all want, but I've just got a feeling they're not going to happen because, one, they're not big enough for a pay-per-view, and 2, the money's not there just to put on for free. So I suppose that's a question I'm asking you guys. I, for one, would absolutely welcome it. A $29.99, I know it's $30, but it sounds better when it's $29.99 to see some big Aussie fights. And I just did the quick sums last night, and let's say we had, I think, even just 5,000 buys. Now, 5,000 is still a fair few in just domestic Aussie boxing, but if it was $30, and let's say it's Harbin and Kamakao, 30 views, come here, ma'am, 5,000 views at $30 would be, what's at 150K, plus the gate, which would be another 100. There's 250K to put on this event and make it work. I just think it'd be fantastic. And I think everyone would get paid. The event would be able to be paid for. You could probably give the main event guys 50, 60, 70 grand each, and it works. They would fight for that money. And same as I said, with the Liam Wilson example, we bring them out, and they can afford to pay somebody 100 grand to come out to get him that ranking that he needs. So, I don't know, what do you guys think? I for one, would welcome it, that middle tier option of pay-per-view, the $29.99 version. Maybe have the gold, silver, and bronze sort of versions of it. But, at the moment, they're charging people between $50 and $70, and I doubt that the numbers, like that Sam Goodman event last week would have been shocking, those events. I would have been surprised if I got a couple of thousand people to buy that event, and that's probably being kind. But imagine if it was only $30. I reckon you would have got a lot more. I'm sure there would be a lot of people that wouldn't buy it even at 30, but you get what I'm saying. If No Limit came out and said, all right, guys, we'll give you Harbin versus Kamakao, but it's going to cost you $30, I reckon there'd be at least 5, 6, 7,000 people that would pay the $30 to make that happen. Just my opinion anyway, but what do you guys think? What else have we got today? We've got a couple of things written down. Oh, this is, really good news on Netflix. There is going to be a couple of boxing documentary / movies coming up. There's a new, I think is it a mini series or something? It's called Fight for 84. Now, what it is, it's the story about the 1984 US Olympic team, Olympic boxing team, and the results. They got 9 gold medals at that Olympics. Now, just a bit of an asterisk beside this, though, is that there was no Cubans or Russians there. That's a big asterisk beside it, isn't it? But I still think the majority of those guys, at least I think they still would have won 4 or 5 gold medals if that was not the case anyway. But or if the Russians and Cubans were there, but they won 9 gold medals. I think 12 medals in total. And it's a story of that, because you might not know this, but only a couple of years before that, the entire US boxing team was wiped out on a plane trip from New York to Poland for a tournament, and the whole team and officials and everything was wiped out. They were killed in the crash, and they had to rebuild the team, and this is the team they built. And I think Jamie Foxx is going to be starring in this as one of the trainers, I think. So, and who can forget that Olympics? We had Pernell Whitaker, Meldrick Taylor, Mark Breland, Tyrell Biggs, Evander Holyfield got disqualified there. Paul Gonzalez, I remember, won gold as well. So I think that's obviously the most successful event they've ever had. But again, you've got to have the caveat beside it that the Cubans and Russians weren't there, who were dominating amateur boxing at the time. So yeah, so it's called Fight for 84, so keep a lookout for it. And also next year as well, apparently is going to be the Mike Tyson movie starring Jamie Foxx again. I think it's just going to be called Tyson, but that'll be on Netflix as well. I'm not sure whether it's going to be a series or a movie or whatever it might be, but that'll be fantastic, won't it? So that's coming soon, so keep a lookout for it. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for today. I'm going to get home and have a nice warm shower and get into the day. Hope you have a great Tuesday, and we'll catch you tomorrow.